Hello. Hi. Good morning, everyone. Hey everyone, my name is Elizabeth Rojas and I am an accredited rep with Dreamers Together, and today we're going to be doing our weekly live. We have changed from Wednesday to Friday, so make sure that you put it down on your calendar every Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Dreamers Together will be doing a live to go over any questions that are related to adjustment of status. Okay. Um, Hi. Hi, Grace. Berenice. Carino. Hi. Is it Carino or Cariño? I know we don't use the in, the ñ. But good morning, Mairanis and Sadet's world. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Um, as far as adjustment of status goes, we still keep urging everybody to do the advanced parole so that you can get the legal entry. Remember the Cariño? I thought it was Cariño. That's a lovely last name. Um, As far as advanced parole, we do recommend that everybody continues to apply for it so that you can get the legal entry so that if you have a child over the age of 21 or you are married to a US citizen, you can go ahead and do your adjustment of status. There are two processes to get the green card. One of them is consular process where you have to leave the US. Those people that have to leave the US is because they don't have the legal entry. And the other process is adjustment of status. That's the process where those that already have a legal entry or have some type of protection that will allow them to do the process here in the US do their process. It is taken about 6 to 18 months on average for a green card approval. So this is the reason why we keep asking everybody, hey, if you have that, do AP. It's going to get you that legal entry. You want to make sure that if you have the opportunity to do a legal entry to do AP, that you do it. And then, once your child turns 21 or once you are married to a US citizen, you can go ahead and start your green card process. There are two types of cards that USCIS will issue. It's a 2-year conditional green card, or you'll get the 10-year green card. um, If they have a kid in the military, do you have to leave the country for a green card? So that is a very good question, Ceci. So if you have a child that is in the military, they can be active or they can be reserved on reserves. If that child is at least 18 years old, they'll file parole in place. We call it military parole in place. That's going to parole their parents or their spouses or their children under age 21, under 21, unmarried. um, they'll get that parole in place approved. It's going to give them an I-94, okay? That I-94 is going to be their legal entry, so that way they'll do the adjustment of status in the US without having to leave to go back to their home country. But you do need that child to be at least 18 years of age to do the military parole in place. And then if they're not 18, 21, you have to wait until they're 21 so that they can go ahead and do the adjustment of status. But for example, I'll kind of give a brief example. Let's say I have two children, right? Let's say one of my oldest is, let's say, is 24 years old, didn't join the military. He's a US citizen, doesn't have, and I don't have a legal entry, right? But let's say I have an 18-year-old that decides to join the military. That 18-year-old can do the parole in place so that I can get a legal entry. And then my 24-year-old, did I say 24-year-old? Then my 24-year-old can file for adjustment of status. So you'll use both children to file a petition for you, just not the same petition, and each petition will serve its different purposes. One child's going to get you that parole in place, and the other child's going to get you that green card. And that's something that you can most definitely do. So, um, that's another option for parents that maybe don't have DACA and that don't have a legal entry, is doing that parole in place if their child is in the military so that they can get that I-94 and then proceed with adjustment of status once that child turns 21 years old. Um, Berenice thinks my brother applied for AP and has been married for more than 4 years to a U.S. citizen, but he's scared he has a Class B misdemeanor for theft. Will be he deported? I will say for theft depends what type of theft it was. You may want to have him schedule an appointment. He can schedule an appointment with Dreamers Together or with an attorney from our Facebook group, and they can look over his paperwork and make sure that he's not going to run into any issues whenever he applies for adjustment of status. Will he be deported? Not necessarily. Does he have DACA? Continue to renew your DACA until you have a green card in hand. Diana, is it true that a judge will rule on November 10th on DACA? I have to go back and double check that date for you. Okay. I sent my AP package July 22nd. Should there be any updates? I don't see anything on my USCIS. So right now, Advanced Pro is taking longer than usual to be approved. We're looking more closer to 10 to 12 months. So, you've been there waiting for about 5 months now. It's going to be a little bit longer, unfortunately. We are still seeing there is a delay with Advanced Pros being approved under this current administration. So right now, the best thing to do is continue to wait. Okay. If I am applying for AP for dental cleaning and I got the estimate and using that for the AP, could I still do my cleaning here with the same dentist, or would I not be able to do that? I'm not sure what do you mean? I'm not sure, Grace. What do you mean by that? Like, do you mean getting the work done before going to Mexico? If that's where you're going? So the thing about APs, and I'm not sure if this is what you're referring to, but the thing about APs is that you want to make sure that you are filing a genuine application. That when you travel to serve the purpose that you traveled for. Especially right now, you may be questioned with USCIS, or you may be questioned whenever you're coming back into the US. And this is not something that you want to be nervous about whenever you're answering, or you don't want to say something, um, tell them something that you didn't do. So we recommend everybody that's applying for advanced parole to apply in good faith. Okay. Let it be a genuine application. If you're gonna get that dental work done, then get another reason. If you're gonna get that dental work here in the US before leaving, find another reason. If you get questioned whenever you come back, you can honestly say, well, I got braces on, or I got this on, or I got that on. But you never want to be caught in the predicament of an officer asking you, what did you go do? Or asking you for proof, and then you don't have proof or you don't know what to say. Um, do they ask for proof? I have seen a few officers that will ask you, what did you go do? Okay. Generally, they don't ask, but I have seen a few cases here and there that they want to see what it is that you want to do. Um, Hello, do you still recommend to do AP? Definitely. Yes. You want to make sure that you apply for advanced parole, and especially if you don't have a legal entry, okay? Now, if you have a legal entry and you still need to travel, people that have a legal entry may still need to travel for work or for school, or because they have sick relatives, or they need dental care that's not affordable in the US and is affordable. So people still need to travel, okay? Again, generally it is safe to travel still, but you just want to cover all your bases. If you have any type of criminal activity, it's not a bad idea to consult with an attorney to see, do they recommend you traveling or not. It depends what is on your background. But generally, it's still safe. You are welcome. Okay. So yeah, again, that's kind of why we keep saying about the legal entry. Military in place is a perfect, or is an option for those that do not have DACA and do not have a legal entry and their child is in the military. They can be active, they can be reserves. Um, So once they have that I-94, after that military parole is approved, then they'll go ahead and they'll file adjustment of status, just as we have been showing in the Facebook group. And then 6 to 18 months on average, give or take, they should be able to get their green card. Some cases can take a little bit longer than 18 months, but on average, that's what it is. I'm sorry. Stephanie, I am meeting my immigration lawyer today. Should I ask them, low key, require that I mail my AP instead of filing online? Thank you. I have clean background. We have not done one online filing for AP yet, and the reason for that is because the system is glitching. The system glitches, so I will talk to your attorney and ask, what do they suggest? How much is it that you're going to be paying? I recommend mail-in versus online right now. Maria says, can I file the I-130 while awaiting AP approval? Seeing that AP approval is taking up to 12 months and I-130 is taking 12 to 14 months to approve. So I would not file the I-130. And the reason for that, Maria, is because I don't know if it's just a pattern that I'm seeing with my cases or if this is the way that USCIS treats all of the cases. But when I already have an I-130 that is pending and I send that I-485, it takes USCIS longer for them to approve those type of cases than if I were submitting the I-130 and the I-485 together. I've had cases where we do the I-130 and I-485 together and they get approved in 2 months. And then I have had cases that had the I-130 even approved already. And then we submit the I-485 and we're still at 9 months, 10 months. And we're still waiting for that I-485 to even get called in for an interview. Technically, yes, you can apply for the I-130 if you want to. I just don't recommend it. I recommend you wait until you have that legal entry and then you submit both the I-130 and I-485 together. And you're probably going to see a faster approval than if you were to do them separately. But that's just my recommendation. But technically, yes, you can do it. It's not going to help the case. If anything, it's just going to delay it. My DACA is to be renewed next year in March. Can I still renew 3 months? I would say 6 months. Okay. I would say at least 6 months. That's the very bare minimum of 6 months. But we do have attorney Charles Cook that is suggesting that we renew 1 year in advance. Okay. Seron Mari says, for questions where to call, you can book an appointment at dreamers2gether.org, okay? And by booking an appointment, you're just going to secure that we do have those 30 minutes to go over any questions that you may have. Does the dental quote for my country have to be signed by the doctor? It does have to be on a company letterhead. So, a signature gives it that validity that it is a real quote. I'm applying for my AOS under my son also received an RFE. It's been 9 months already. How long does it take to get a response? It's been 9 months altogether, or it's been 9 months since you sent that RFE back. Usually, the longest I've seen an RFE be, or the longest that I've seen that USCIS takes to reach back out after an RFE has been received is about 6 months. Eric Roman. Hi, Eric. It says, my friend just got married a week ago. He has been with his girlfriend for 1 month. Can he submit AOS or does he need to wait a couple months? As long as they already have the marriage certificate and as long as they can prove or they have enough evidence to prove that this is a legitimate marriage, they can go ahead and file adjustment of status. They don't have to wait. There's couples that have been together for years, that have children together, that bought houses, have bank accounts, have done a lot of things together, just, formally got married and they don't have to wait. But if they're newlyweds and they don't have any type of evidence, it's not a bad idea to make sure you have enough evidence to support your marriage. Mm, Perla, I heard they're not approving APs that don't have legal entry. What is your experience on this? So there's no official guideline on this, Perla, and I actually have seen a couple of first-time AP approvals. So the thing about it right now is it's going to be a waiting game, 10 to 12 months, closer to 10 to 12 months, but it's going to be approved. We just have to wait, but I have seen a few few approvals. Now, if you're trying to do InfoPass, this is something that officers will tell you at InfoPass. But I also have seen a few cases that luckily have been approved as first-time AP applicants at InfoPass. Give it a try. You never know, if you know your InfoPass, you'll be approved. Um, but as far as mail-in applications, you should be fine. Okay. Mauri says, got it. Thank you. Seron says, thank you. You're welcome. Stephanie, I have an I-130 approved months ago. Yay. I am applying for a first-time AP today due to humanitarian reasons. Sick grandma. My DACA expires in May 2026. I would go ahead and renew your DACA if you can. Please suggest a timeline post AP AOS app and DACA renewal that ideally does not let my DACA expire. I would go ahead and renew your DACA today if you can, 6 months out in advance. Ceci, sorry, one more question. If a child is in the military and is already, can he still help his parents on getting green card? Yes. So citizens can make petitions for children or for AOS purposes. Let me backtrack on that. Citizens can petition for children under the age of 21 unmarried, for children over the age of 21 married, can petition for parents and can petition for spouses, okay? The only thing about making all of these different petitions is the financial portion of the application. Can the petitioner financially support those that have already became a green card and the new intended immigrant? If they can't financially support their beneficiaries, they may have to find a joint sponsor. Can they petition for their parents and their spouse at the same time? Yes, you can. That's going to be the financial portion of the application. Does parents have 40 credits where they're exempt from having an IA-64 filed for them? Does the petitioner make enough? If the petitioner is married, can they combine with their spouse to support those new intended immigrants? There's a lot of questions regarding the financial portion of the application that you will have to look into, but yes. The simple answer to that is yes, they can. Is it safe to travel with an I-751 extension letter? Yes, it's safe. But if you want to, you can schedule an appointment to your local USCIS office and they will give you an ADT stamp on your passport. That way you don't run into any issues. But generally speaking, you should be fine with just the green card and the extension letter. But if you want to do that extra step, I recommend it. Get an ADT stamp. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, ¿qué más preguntas? You guys have really good questions today. También, si se sienten más cómodos en español, pueden hacer sus preguntas en español or English, whichever you prefer. Okay, so let's see. That was one of the things that I wanted to touch base was about the advanced parole legal entry so that you can later apply for adjustment of status. Another thing is, as of October 28, 2025, USCIS is no longer going to be accepting money orders, personal checks, cashier's checks. Okay. You want to make sure that you're doing the payment with a credit or a debit card or ACH. Mimi, this is a very good question. If I left the US by accident driving and I have a legal entry already, will that accidentally mess up my chance for AOS? So the question here is, how did you come back if you're in the US? That's going to be the question. Mimi, for that, I definitely would probably consult with an immigration attorney, or you can reach out to Dreamers Together because there's a lot of questions that I have regarding this, and you want to make sure that you have the correct information. So reach out, or you can also reach out to one of the attorneys, okay? Mandé el AP en abril y aún no me lo aprueban. ¿Cuánto más tardan? Va a ser como 10 a 12 meses ahorita, desafortunadamente, Rosalía. Estamos viendo que están, están demorando de 10 a 12 meses promedio. El año pasado estaban demorando de 3 a 6 meses para un AP. Este año, cuando entró la administración nueva, se retrasaron, hubo varios cambios, entonces ahora están de 10 a 12 meses y sí estoy viendo aprobaciones muy lentas, pero sí las estoy viendo para aplicantes de AP por primera vez. Así es que no se desanimen, es cuestión solamente de seguir esperando. I keep asking the same question. Sorry. What if my lawyer wants to file emergency AP? I have understood. Try it, Stephanie. Give it a try. Okay. I will tell you that I've seen a handful of cases that have been approved for emergency AP. You're not going to know until you don't try it. I recommend trying it, but if it doesn't work out, don't get discouraged. Send it out by mail. And your attorney should tell you that too. I tell everybody give it a try. You don't know. My attorney filed something, but he retired, and I don't know what he filed to get me back in. Okay, I know what you're talking about, Mimi. Reach out to an attorney. Okay. Um, there's a couple of factors to determine if you would be eligible for adjustment of status or not. Generally speaking, you shouldn't have any issues because it was probably a humanitarian parole that was filed for you. So that would have been still a legal entry now. Are there other inadmissibilities that you would have to be looking into? Reach out to an attorney just to make sure that all of your bases are covered. But generally speaking, you should be fine. Okay. And that's something that everybody that lives too close to the border has to be extra careful about, that you don't drive into Mexico. I remember the very first time that I went to Texas, it was for work. It was not with Dreamers Together, but for work, I had to go to Texas. And I just made sure I told them, don't get me too close to the border. Because that's something you don't want to run into. So, um, Rosalía dice, muchas gracias, de nada. Um, okay, so credit cards, make sure you do. Hi, boy. ¿Qué pasó? So make sure that you are doing credit or debit or ACH, okay? And if we don't have any more questions, I think that's going to be it for today. Bye, everyone. Come back next Friday, same time. We'll answer more questions.